We all have a primal connection to the sea. We're drawn to it for comfort or out of fear. For Taylor, I think it's where he went to be born again. I also believe that a part of him went there to die.
It's cold as hell. Another storm's rolling in. We're looking at 12-foot seas right now. It's supposed to keep picking up. Yeah, here we are. Fuck it. Centuries ago, there was a story written about a man coming home from war. It's called The Odyssey by Homer. It's one of my biggest inspirations. Odysseus spent 10 years at war overseas. And at the end of it, Odysseus took off on a sailboat with a bunch of his buds to get back home. There's something to be said about a man or woman on the water. Turn the engine off, and you put up the sails, and you're connected to it all. Your mind doesn't think about anything other than harnessing the power of the wind.
Taylor and I met in high school and became close friends on the swim team. His drive and stubbornness was always getting us into trouble growing up. But that same tenacity is what drove him to become captain of the varsity swim team, despite failing his freshman year tryouts.
Taylor came out for the team, and he just wasn't quite fast enough, you know? And I said, you're just gonna get run over. It's gonna be no fun. You're not gonna be keeping up. You've got the heart, I can tell. There's a club team over here where if you go swim with the club, you can train with a bunch of 11 and 12-year-olds because that's about your speed right now. And so he's like, okay. And he went and did that. And then by his senior year, he was school record holder with the 400 freestyle, All-American. That kid won't give up. He won't give up on anything. Taylor Greiger was my go-to motivational story every time I had to cut a kid. I'm cutting you now, but put in the work. You can be like that guy. And I would point to the board and go, see that name up there on the board? That's what I'm talking about. And now he's a Navy rescue swimmer.
Taylor enlisted right out of high school, and I went into academia. We lost touch for a while, but we reconnected about 7 years later in Guam, which is out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Taylor was stationed out there, and I went to do research for a book that I was writing. Taylor was getting out in a few months, and he didn't really have anything lined up for him back home. But he did have this wild dream to sail 10,000 miles to the bottom of the world to round Cape Horn. And Cape Horn is the Mount Everest of sailing. That was going to be his odyssey. Even though I had no sailing experience, Taylor asked if I would go with him. And that was crazy. I had no idea what to expect, but I said yes. This had the potential to be the adventure of a lifetime. But I also knew that Taylor needed this. He'd been diagnosed with PTSD, and he was having a rough time transitioning out of the military. Taylor needed time and distance to help process his experiences in the Navy.
I didn't think that it was gonna affect me that bad. I didn't think I was gonna have a hard time with it, but I did. I would drive around in my truck and my heart rate would start pumping. I could feel my face heat up. I would be shaking and tense, you know, like I was about to get in a fight. I'd start crying. My emotions flooded out. I wasn't in control of what was happening to my body. It would just happen. I didn't know why.
The way Taylor will describe it, it's like driving a truck 70 miles an hour and then slamming it into a brick wall.
I heard a couple people talk about suicide before, you know, and they're like, you know, that's so selfish. How could you do something like that? Everybody that cares about you, you leave behind, you know? I don't think what anybody ever says out loud is, I mean, those people, I was in so much pain. You hurt all day, and you see the worst things that you can see in this world every day of every second. You know, everybody that I pulled from the water, or everybody that we lost, or all my buddies that have killed themselves, I see them every day. And when your body's running away from you like that, and it's trying to adjust into a new climate, a new pace, and you're in that much pain, you don't want to live in this world anymore. Drank some tequila, drank a lot of tequila, and ended up driving out to the beach. I ended up putting my Glock to my head and pulled the trigger. And it didn't go off. I took the round out. The firing pin went off. There's a dent on the back of the bullet. Should have exploded. And then after that, all I thought about was all my buds coming home and feeling like that. That's all I thought about, man. I don't want them to feel that alone, you know, that they didn't have another option. So I wanted to find a way to give them an option when they came back, you know? I don't know why the round didn't go off. I wasn't meant to die then, you know, but I still think about it all the time. Why the fuck didn't that bullet go off? What am I still doing here, you know? Was it a second chance? I got here with a dream that I've had since I was a kid, man. All I wanted to do was sail around the world, see everything it had to offer. There was something more than Texas, you know? God bless Texas. And now it's time to get the ball rolling. Personally, this trip, I've put everything into. I put away money for 9 years, closed out all my credit cards. All of it's in the boat.
We call our boat the Old Lady. And we named her that because we needed her to take care of us in the open ocean. But she was also really old. Taylor had bought her used and worked on her tirelessly for the better part of a year. Growing up, my grandpa, he had a boat to take me out on. And so I understood how boats worked. But as far as the maintenance, I didn't know anything. And I can seriously only credit that to YouTube.
After about 30 minutes, the fiberglass is hard enough to sand smooth.
I went to YouTube Academy, learned it all there.
In this episode, we're going to explore the complexity of fuel delivery in a marine diesel.
Hours of YouTube. Every single nut, screw, bolt, seam, all of it has been placed by us. Not only builds a special bond we have with her, we love this old lady. but we're confident in making sure she makes it to Cape Horn.
Our plan is to cast off from Pensacola, Florida, sail 10,000 nautical miles, 200 days at sea, to reach the southernmost tip of South America, the notorious Cape Horn. Cape Horn harbors the most treacherous waters on this planet. It's where the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans collide. You get storms year-round. 100-foot rogue waves. And willowaws with hurricane-force winds. But the journey to Cape Horn was going to be the real challenge.
What's going on, brother?
Today's the day.
It is indeed.
Let's roll.
We should have done more to prepare for this journey. Really, we should have done it in a $1 million yacht with a steel hull. But, you know, I think that's one of the things you learn sailing, that if you wait until you're ready, your boat will never leave the harbor.
I've thrown up twice now. That's how nervous I am. Never happened before in my life.
We recruited Taylor's friend Kel, a fellow rescue swimmer, to help us cross the Gulf of Mexico. He'd been on deployments with Taylor, and they were stationed together in Guam.
I'm proud of you guys. Some people, they're like, I have these great ideas, but most of the time people don't follow through. Of course, Taylor follows through like a crazy man.
The weather looks good. We have a cold front coming down that's going to give us some weather, but nothing we can't handle.
I look forward to that moment that we just set sail, because I know as soon as we're out there, all the nerves are just going to get flushed out.
Doing it!
Opening to the Gulf right ahead of us. Once we pass that, we're in open water. Heading for Mexico.
Feels good. You just stare out at the horizon as you do it. I love being a sailor, man. What's going on? Barometric pressure is dropping. And we've got two huge cumulonimbus clouds, which isn't your standard squall line. Expecting a pretty good storm tonight. Not one of those hit you and quit you types.
Breaking news, Hurricane Harvey barreling into the Texas coastline as a Category 4 storm with 130-mile-an-hour winds.
The strongest Atlantic hurricane in 10 years.
Game plan for the storm. Hold on to your butts.
You gonna sail right there?
Yeah, you can't go anywhere. There's nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. Out here in the middle of nowhere. You're fucked.
We're 400 miles from shore in every direction, and we hit the mother of all storms.
I was looking out at the horizon, and it was a wall of black we were going right into. You're not outrunning that storm.
I was at the helm when the front of the storm hit us. And immediately, the mast was scraping the waves that were rolling under us.
There are waves crashing over the bow.
flooding the railings.
And there was no time to put harnesses on or anything. We were gonna lose the boat in that instant. I looked over at Kel and I was like, we gotta get that main down.
Put her into the wet! Let's go.
In order to physically pull the sail down, I had to turn the boat into the wind, which was also into the swells. And right as I did that, we went over the crest of this massive wave. The entire bow of the boat submerged as we kind of crashed over it.
We got hit by that wall of water and it was like getting punched in the gut.
Water flooded over the entire Bimini. And when everything kind of settled, Taylor and Kel were gone. I thought they'd just been washed out to sea. In a moment like that, time just freezes, and your mind is working so fast. I thought I was just completely alone on the boat. But by some miracle, they had both managed to grab a hold of lifelines as they were being flung off the boat. And just kind of like this intense moment, they both rose up at the exact same time. And then just continued hammering away that mainsail. It was a survival storm for us. I really thought we were gonna die. We battled storms on and off for another 3 days after that one. I guess that's what is to be expected if you're crossing the Gulf of Mexico in the middle of hurricane season. And we just kind of had to push for Mexico.
You're not prepared for everything. All you can do is just take the storm and keep on pushing through it. The guys that come home from overseas face much larger storms than we did. They're going into a storm not prepared at all. They have no idea what's coming. When I was in, I saw a lot of my buddies getting out of the military and they were killing themselves, you know? And it was always like, why? I'm sick and tired of seeing all our friends die.
While Taylor was in the military, I had been interviewing combat veterans for my book. I wanted to know why more soldiers are dying by suicide than in combat. And what I discovered is that most veterans are not prepared for their transition out of the military. We spend months, sometimes years, training these men and women to protect our country. And at the end of their service, all they really get to help them transition out is a 5-day course called TAPS. And that's clearly not enough to help prepare veterans emotionally or physically for when they return home. Their mind and their body need time to adjust.
The horrible thing about it is it's not intellectual. It's purely physical. I suspect it probably just is endorphins and adrenaline that you don't have anymore. It's like trying to get off alcohol. Your body wants it even though you know it's bad.
I have to try every day to remind myself that I'm not a monster. I did what I was trained to do. I did everything right. But just the fact that I did it is haunting in of itself.
I get stressed out. I can feel it coming on. I had one that I got so stressed, it just instant. And I woke up in my bathroom covered in my own blood.
I've lost 7 of the boys I deployed with. I miss those guys, man. Funniest guys you always wanted to be around in the room. They were infectious and intelligent. Guys that could have been great for the States, could have been assets, you know. This world is less than without people like that in it. And people like that are dropping out of this world every single day, dude. And I'm never gonna stop thinking about them.
That kid loves with a huge heart. Once you're in his family, that guy will literally lay down his life for you. And to him, all the military guys are his family.
I wanted to sail, But more so, I wanted to make sure that none of my buddies getting out after me killed themselves.
We decided, let's try and make this bigger than just ourselves. How can we do this in a way that can help more people than just us? So from day one, we decided to kind of document this trip.
To raise awareness, to build a community, to show other guys that they're not the only ones going through it.
We set up a website and social media pages for Skeleton Crew Sailing so that friends, family, and most importantly, veterans could follow along with our journey and see how Taylor was progressing.
It's not the answer, but it's a start, you know? It's the start of a conversation to say, you know, we can fix this.
If this kid pulls this off, he's gonna change lives. He's gonna change lives, not just his, but others.
How you feeling, Miguel? I'm ready to see land.
Look at that beautiful sight, dude.
Arriving in Cancun and seeing land for the first time, that was unlike anything. We were alive. We had undergone a baptism by fire, and we had come out stronger for it. It was hard saying goodbye to Kel. He had helped train Taylor to become a helicopter crew chief, but when Kel's contract ended, he chose to stay in the military. Kel saw a lot of the same problems as Taylor in Guam, but the military worked for him. He only had a few weeks leave for the whole year, but he still flew down to help us cross the Gulf.
Seeing Kel leave after everything we've been through, that was rough. It was awesome having him out here, having my back, you know, transitioning into this feeling world. He flew out here to help us with this cause.
Later, amigo.
And then watch him get on a plane and leave back into the military. Left Steven and I, true skeleton crew, out here to battle the seas. Yeah.
So we are currently rolling into Belize City right now at the sunrise. That's pretty cool.
You're the prettiest smelling pig in all the land.
This is how we live. We don't want nothing to be too extravagant. We just want to live comfortable and be free in what we're doing.
We really started to hit our stride after Belize. Taylor was at his best behind the helm. And this trip, you know, as a form of decompression or transition, it seemed to be working. Even when storms hit, which was pretty much every single day down there, Taylor would deal with it.
There's a 50% chance of rain today. Might be a thunderstorm, might not.
Navigating out of Belize City right now, we figured we deserved the chance to anchor more off of the Great Blue Hole. That's where we're headed right now. It's awesome. You know, it's on the top things to do in the world.
The Great Blue Hole is this massive sinkhole off the coast of Belize. It's famous for having just crystalline waters that plummet into the deep, with amazing fish and spectacular coral.
I'm pretty excited about it. Steven's pretty excited about it. We'll be there probably tomorrow morning. Right now, we're trying to navigate through these coral reefs. It's a little dicey, but nothing the old lady can't handle.
Oh man.
Old lady's pretty banged up. It all started with us crashing into some coral reef. I was at the bow, supposed to be guiding the boat. We were riding in the sun. Just all of a sudden we're in 5-foot water, you know? We're sailing across open ocean, you know, and we've got holes in the boat. All right, man, how's it going?
All right.
Taylor's just kind of been giving me, you know, one-word responses. I feel kind of guilty for fucking up the boat. You know? You holding up okay? Yeah. I mean, I'm just asking, dude. You've been kind of quiet the past few days, so I don't know, like...
Get some dogs, dude. Out here in the middle of these goddamn storms. Here we are. Ocean is unforgiving. I think Steven's definitely starting to figure out that if you make a mistake out here, you die.
While we were in Honduras, we got bogged down on the island of Roatan as 2 back-to-back tropical depressions struck the island. We'd been on shore that night drinking a little bit. And I think Taylor just lost his patience with the whole scenario. But it kind of got directed at me in that moment, and Taylor said, if you don't stop talking, I'm going to punch you in the face. But I had a point to make, so I kept talking, and sure enough, Taylor came at me. We scuffled a little bit, and I think in all of the storms and everything we'd been through, that was one of the scariest moments. In that moment, when you have somebody who's been in the military for the past 6 years come at you, like, what am I supposed to do? After the fight, we went back to the old lady, and we sat down, and we talked about it. I said, if either of us swings at each other again on this voyage, it is over. We're not gonna make it around Cape Horn if we can't even get along ashore. And Taylor agreed.
My best friend in the world punched me in the face. And that's all right. What it comes down to is when you make a bad call or you say a bad thing and your true friends, they'll always punch you in the face whenever you say something stupid. And you can count on them for it. Nah, we're good, man.
We put the fight behind us and continued on to Panama. But I don't think we really grasped the extent of the damage those storms had done to the old lady. Our engine seized about 100 miles off the coast of Honduras and Nicaragua. And there's nothing we could do to fix it out there. So we had to sail 600 miles straight to Panama, which had the only real repair facilities on that side of Central America. But the thing about sailing without an engine is you need wind. We hit a doldrums area where we went about a week, where the only wind we got was from squall lines. And they'd push us maybe like 5 or 10 miles, and then the winds would die again. And we'd be left there rocking for usually 12 hours. Well,
Where's your morale at?
comes and goes. Usually it depends on how caffeinated I am and how much sleep I've had, but right now I'm going on about, I'd
3 hours last night, and then I had maybe an hour and a half today during the day. So, pretty exhausted, man.
Turn south into Panama right now. We have 260 miles to go. No engine, all sails, all the power's out on the boat. We use these lights to see at night if the moon's not out.
And our boat's falling apart. So there's that.
What saved us was a single night of very light wind that pushed us just enough to get us within shouting distance of the coast of Panama. And then we got towed in by Shelter Bay Marina. We hunkered down in Panama to make some repairs. And to ready the old lady for the rough seas that lay ahead.
The boat's not in perfect shape right now. We're going through the canal here tomorrow.
Crossing the Panama Canal was something that Taylor and I were both really excited about. It's one of the 7 wonders of the modern world. And the canal is a kind of rite of passage for sailors. But for us, it was our point of no return.
Sailing vessel Old Lady. We are heading to the flats right now.
Guys, we have to discuss terms before we take any lawyers.
We actually rafted up next to the British Army's boat, and it's completely run by active duty British military.
It's okay to come on board.
They welcomed us on their boat, and we immediately hit it off, had that connection. The question came up, what the hell are you guys doing out here? What are y'all about? It was eye-opening to hear their story.
They're required to send a third of their unit on an expedition, sailing, hiking, camping, kayaking, you name it. And one of the guys was like, look, man, the biggest deal is like, yeah, you gotta take care of you guys physically, but you gotta make sure they're mentally stable. And they care about that. And that's a big deal, and it's talked about. They breed that culture, you wanna be healthy in and out.
4, 5, 6, 7.
The whole time I was talking to them, it's like, what, are you serious? Like, this is a real thing. The United States doesn't have any program like that. Dealing with veteran suicides and the homelessness and alcoholic problems is very reactionary. We react to it. So veterans are killing themselves. Okay, well, maybe we need to give them counseling. Veterans are homeless. Well, maybe we need to build them a home. But what happens if you prevented it? What happens if you took care of guys before they even got to that point?
Guys, have a safe journey. Look after yourselves. And
I don't regret serving this country. I think everybody in some capacity should work for the country that they live in.
Stay close to the Red Bull just in case we need to come out.
So being able to offer myself for the country that I grew up in, I will always be proud of, always.
Joined when I was 18 to be a rescue swimmer. And the marketing campaign by the military is so awesome, you don't think about anything but actually saving people, which is what I wanted to do. But it'd be pretty easy, be jumping in the water and saving people and call it a day, but it's a lot nastier than that. 80% of the calls that I got, you didn't find anybody. There wasn't anybody left to bring home. It wasn't out of the ordinary to fly 13-hour days every day. mean, you're popping caffeine pills just to stay awake so you can look at the water. And you're looking for a little speck from the sky, you know, and if you start dozing off, you're not gonna see anything. A couple months after I'd gotten out and settled back into civilian society, didn't know how to handle living at that slower pace. Yeah, the scariest moments were whenever I was in an air conditioning house, a roof over my head, on a soft couch. I was just sitting there and adrenaline just started pumping through my body for no reason, man. And I didn't know why, and my body just ran away uncontrollably from me.
PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder. The kind of controversy today is that PTSD is not a disorder. It's kind of a natural reaction to being put under loads of stress over long periods of time. So it has physical changes on the brain and the body. Chronic stress is when more cortisol is released to the body than can be absorbed. Cortisol has been shown to kill brain cells and to reduce the volume of areas of the brain like the prefrontal cortex and the hippocampus. And the hippocampus deals with emotions like anger and fear. And as the hippocampus shrinks, your ability to overcome the fight or flight reaction dissolves. I'd been spending the past 5 years of my life interviewing and researching combat veterans, but something I didn't really anticipate was Taylor's story, really kind of grabbing me by the throat a little bit, because here was somebody who was displaying a similar kind of trauma in response to some of his experiences, and Taylor had never been to combat.
Out of my entire out processing or adjustment back into the civilian world, he was the first one that said, this is what you can expect.
He got out of the military and nobody even mentioned PTSD. His transition program, TAPS, had nothing to do with that because he never was technically in a combat zone. Despite, pulling dead bodies out of the water, despite serving in disaster relief missions. And it was concerning to him because he didn't know if he was the strange one. In a recent study that involved over 1 million veterans, so this is the height of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, non-combat veterans were more likely to commit suicide than combat veterans.
All right, just crossed over the border of Panama to Colombia. So we're officially in South America.
After weeks of storms and doldrums in the Caribbean, it was nice to have some steady sailing.
The change in pace from what we were sailing through 2 weeks ago to now is unreal. And now we're out here in dry weather and the sun's always shining. Neither of us can really make anything of this.
We're not gonna question it, you know what I'm saying?
All right, so we are currently in Colombia. Taylor, say hi. Yo, yo. Colombia is beautiful. Shame people avoid it.
Doggy. The guardacostas here told us that only 10 sailboats arrived in all of the year 2017.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a nice trip. Thank you very much.
Sailing the Colombian coast took us longer than we expected. The Humboldt current was especially strong, and the headwinds coming up from Ecuador spun us around in circles.
Winds died on us. Water's like glass, but Seaward and I are just happy as can be. We're gonna keep moseying along the coastline.
We really didn't mind the slower pace. It was a great break from the storms, and we did our best to enjoy it.
Yum. Oh my God.
That's decent, dude.
Well done, sir.
Merry Christmas, dude.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
But as beautiful and pristine as our experience of the Colombian coast was, it came to us at a price.
Past couple nights we've had boats run up on us in the middle of the night. You can hear them coming a couple miles away, beating through the waves. They come around and start circling you. That's some scary stuff. I dealt with a lot of pirates overseas, and I knew pirates were in these waters. They hit us after sunset.
We saw the bow light of, I presume, their mothership. Saw a second light kind of come on and realized it was a spotlight as you just get this kind of beam sweeping over the water line. When you're out on the water, you see light like a needle. And the most eerie thing that happened was the spotlight went out and then the bow light went out, back to back. And then you just heard an outboard engine roar to life. At that point, they sent out a skiff to come chase us down. We're just sitting ducks at this point, right? Because it was clear skies, the moon was full, so our sails are glowing like a beacon of light for these pirates. We're hearing them come, and I changed my direction maybe like 90 degrees, and wasn't catching the light as much.
The moon was bright enough to see the glint of metal machetes on their boat.
As soon as this skiff was getting right next to us, the first line of cloud cover went over the moon, and it just got dark. And I immediately changed course, and heard the boat kind of zoom past us. And then I heard it doing like a spiraling search pattern behind us. And that's when the rain just started pouring down. And the wind picked up, so we started really cruising. And it was the happiest I think I've ever been in my life to be in a storm.
Seas are getting bigger steadily, and we're holding about 7.4 knots. This is one of the fastest speeds we've done this entire trip. So it's to actually have the old lady flying again it's a good feeling.
With the pirates behind us and wind in our sails, we were finally able to point our bow south. And reaching the equator was another milestone, but we were still less than halfway to Cape Horn.
Boom. Just like that. The southern hemisphere.
Make our way to Ecuador, which we're really looking forward to because we got a couple of repairs we need to make.
Our starter had burnt out back in the Caribbean, but we had a replacement shipped to us in Panama. We were excited about not having to hotwire our engine anymore, especially if we were going to be battling the waves around Cape Horn.
Key is, don't shock yourself.
Every time.
So now we're in Bahia de Caracas in Ecuador.
We're gonna be here for a week. We gotta put the starter we got from Panama in, and then provision for our next leg, probably through Peru, and then down to Chile. So it should be a quick little stop, and we're up out of here. What a pain in the ass. I don't know what we're gonna do, man. Been putting on, taking off the wrong starter. We ordered the right one, had the right one shipped, but somehow the wrong model got put into this box. $700 down the drain. So that's that. Stuck in Ecuador.
We reordered the starter, but it took over a month to clear customs. And I was worried about Taylor being landlocked and stuck at that slower pace for weeks. Being holed up tended to make things worse for him. thankfully, there's always work to be done on the old lady.
It's a fight, stressful to try and stay positive. You know, some days are really hard to believe that what you're doing is the right thing. I question myself all the time. Am I actually doing something here? Is everything that I've given gonna change anything?
We were always grateful when we could connect to the internet. It made us feel useful to the people we were trying to help. You know, one minute it would bring us stories of their struggle and pain that we could relate to. And then the next, it was delivering us some really great news.
Yeah, boy. Soul lady.
We knew that we could never ask anyone to join us. The risks were far too great. But John offered.
So here you are, man. Bahia de Caracas. What do you think of the old lady?
Kind of not what I expected.
Why? In what sense?
Smaller.
John was a friend of Taylor's from the Navy. He wanted to help us in our final push for Cape Horn, and he'd just left the military. He'd only been on terminal leave for 2 weeks.
It's gonna make cruising night and day difference for us. Here, having John, you know.
I hope so. So all I want to do is help out, man.
Yeah.
John's help was going to be huge for us in the South Pacific. But we also knew that John was having a tough time adjusting to civilian life. He was experiencing the same challenges that Taylor did upon leaving the Navy. And so we really hoped this trip would help him too. So you kind of sent us a message, but why don't you kind of explain, like, why did you want to come on this trip?
See, towards the end, I was in a pretty rough place. So 2.5 weeks before I started terminal leave, before I went home, I had another breakdown. Sorry.
You good, man?
It's all good.
Take your time. Yeah.
Ooh. Yep. I was suicidal. And I went to medical the next day. Excuse me. Walked into mental health clinic, and they sat me down, gave me this huge questionnaire, turned it in, and hour passed by, 2 hours passed by. The commander's in now. She's gonna see you in a little bit. Yeah, no worries. Just trying to talk to someone, trying to get, the right steps, the right tools to fix myself. It came about 5 o'clock in the evening when Corman came back down and said, "Hey, I'm sorry, just want to see you. You need to go somewhere else." I was like, "Where? Fleeting family? Where?" She's like, "No." She said for you to wait for the VA. So I'm still active duty. I don't need to go to the VA. I'm still active duty for another 2.5 months from now. She said, "Well, you only have a few weeks left until you're on terminal leave, and then you're pretty much the VA's problem." And so I just laughed. I said, "That's all right. Well, my life's falling apart right now, so what can you do?"
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. It's fucking bullshit, dude. Yeah, you know.
I'm glad that you're here with us, because doing that shit alone, that hurts,
Yeah, it does.
So we've been here for 2 months, planning on being here for a week. And then today's the day she's going in. Freaking pumped. I'm excited. I'm trying to make myself calm right now so I don't mess this up and break this brand new one. Don't mess this up. Don't mess this up.
All right, get it. Oh man, she sounds good. That's awesome. All right, casting off. Going.
John brought a much-needed second wind to our crew.
I'm high.
Living in close quarters, John. There's nothing new to you. Just a refresher. Keep all your shit in your space. If not, it's going overboard.
The plan was to sail 200 miles offshore to skip Peru and to avoid getting caught up in the Humboldt Current again. Taylor predicted we'd reach Valparaiso, Chile after about 3 weeks at sea. That would make this our longest stretch of sailing to date.
We got a long night. Right now is all about managing the nerves. Pumped. I'm just worried about the boat. Hope nothing breaks on her while we're out there.
Out here in the middle of nowhere.
You feel like a civilian?
Oh yeah, so it's been a really weird period for me because I kind
The longer we were at sea, the more I'd find Taylor and John at the helm, swapping stories from their deployments and sharing their experiences of leaving the military.
Sailor for life. 6 years and 9 months of my life. Proud of it. Why I did it. I wouldn't have met Taylor, all my buds. It's definitely been weird. Yesterday was my last day of terminal leave, so technically out of the Navy, April 5th. That first week seemed like it was never ending.
Yeah, you're running on, go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And then you're out. And then you're driving around getting pissed off in traffic like, what the hell is going on right now?
Getting to talk with him and tell him what it was like for me when I was going out, you know, and we'll compare stories. I'm like, dude, I've had the same feeling, you know. It was really cool. I wish I could have that talk with all the guys.
Man, I know that this isn't who I am, and I'm trying to get back to who I want to. I want so badly to be that person again, you know, be happy and
Or be better than I was.
Yeah.
So that's what the last 2.5 weeks been for me. And every night, every day gets a little easier. Just definitely looking up for here.
The engine broke down. So we opened up the transmission, found the flywheel completely disassembled.
Oh man, here we are, a little over 100 nautical miles offshore. Transmission decided to take a little walkabout on us. We're sailing now. How does it feel? So right now we're about 120 miles, 130 miles from shore. Get a look at the chart. We'll push for a week because we have the stores to do that. And then that gives us 3 weeks to make it back into land.
Past few days have been pretty rough, pretty heavy seas. The swells are pretty big. I don't think anybody's really gotten any sleep. To top it all off, we are currently being swept out to sea by the Humboldt Current. We're about 500 miles off the coast.
"30 minutes from crossing into Chilean waters, and we are 670 nautical miles offshore right now. A little over 2 weeks out to sea. Days are definitely all blended together.
Every time the wind dies, you know, you have no idea how long it's gonna last. It's
going to be an hour, it's going to be a day, or a week. Your mind wants to go places that aren't necessarily helpful to anybody. All you can do is wait, you know?
Spirits aren't as high as they usually are on the old lady. Water tanks are kaput, so we run off of 5-gallon jugs.
We're pretty low on food right now. We're down to just a few cans left.
Going through some really decent hunger pains.
We didn't know how long we were going to be out there, and we were just watching everything run out of the boat, so we were really just wondering if we were going to make it.
Fire, 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 fire!
Boat's leaking. Transmission's out. Caught on fire last night. It's time to call it. We've been pushing our luck. This boat's not gonna make it. Go to Valparaiso, make the repairs on the boat. See if we can sell her down there. I mean, last night all I saw was the sparks catching the oil or diesel and then us blowing up. You guys died. That was my fault. So we're not doing that anymore. Time to go home.
There we are, we're off. All right, get on the helm. Get the hell out of here.
Taylor shouldn't have sailed for Valdivia. The old lady was falling to pieces and in no state to be on the open ocean. He had kicked John and I off the boat because it wasn't safe. But, you know, Taylor was in a really rough place at that time. Another one of his buddies back home had just killed himself. And on top of that, we were completely broke, and nothing seemed to be getting any better.
Fuck.
But I think Taylor kept going because he had to.
Here we go. Woo. I'm nervous as hell right now. I feel so damn sick right now. My God, I might actually throw up. Body shaking. Oh, fuck me. See how it goes. First full day at sea. Check that in the box. These seas are rough. Very rough right now. All the nerves from yesterday are gone. I love being out here.
Yeah, here we are. It's cold as hell. Another storm's rolling in. We're looking at 12-foot seas right now. It's supposed to be picking up. Fuck it.
It's a beautiful morning out here. My God. I got hundreds of these birds flying all around the boat. I'm a bird too!
cold just eats at your soul out here. Part of me wants to keep on going to Cape Horn right now, you know? Every inch of me wants to just not pull in Valdivia and keep on going to Cape Horn right now. Just keep thinking about all the boys dying.
Go and find the pot of gold! You ever sailed through a rainbow before?
The anchor fell off the bowsprit. I was up there bent over the bow, hanging off the edge, trying to get the anchor back on deck. The boat took a nosedive right in the bottom of a wave. Ate it. Completely soaked. Thought I was going overboard.
Us! You have crossed into King Neptune's territory!
What can you do? Damn, I hate that saying. What can you do? You can get off your ass and you can fucking do something about it. That's what you can do. Piss me off. I go home, another one of my friends kills himself while I'm not out here doing something about it. It's gonna eat me up.
Made it! Land's in sight. Last time I got some sleep was about 2 nights ago. Can't stop smiling. It's cool to see land. Everything me and the old lady been through. It's time for a break. So, it doesn't make me feel any better about leaving the old lady here. But when you're all out of options, that's all, folks.
A mutual love for water that started on their high school swim team has taken 2 college-station men on a sailing mission halfway around the world.
We're excited right now to talk a little sailing with Stephen O'Shea and Taylor Greiger in the middle of one heck of an adventure and a story worth sharing.
Their journey doubled as a mission for veterans.
Too many veterans have taken their lives. They're sailing the most dangerous waters in the world to bring awareness to what's going on in the States.
You wanted to do this adventure and then come back and then tell the story, but that's not what happened.
The boat needs some major repairs. We've finished basically 90% of the journey so far, and so we're trying to raise money just to finish this last bit. And that's why we started our Kickstarter campaign.
So you're raising awareness and people can help you out. They can go to your website and help donate and learn more and get involved.
We're trying to make this as big as possible. We can sit here all day and talk about what's being done for veterans, but we can talk so much more about what isn't being done for veterans.
Everyday suicide claims the lives of more than 20 veterans.
What do you want our listeners to move forward in if they are really feeling compelled by this cause?
I think policy change is a big one, you know, and there needs to be programs to let veterans decompress when they get back. We're gonna make sure nobody getting out of the military is wondering what's going on with his body.
If you're so moved, support what they have going on.
And raise awareness for what millions of Americans deal with having gone and fought for our country.
There's an end to the storm that you're going through. Just like we left her. There's no mold.
All right.
So that's good.
That's a start.
Freaking pumped. I'm freaking excited.
Yeah. Still cleaning up the ashes.
The attitude that we have now, as opposed to when we left, is night and day difference. Granola!
We're so stoked I even bought little hand towels.
It's gotta look good. Johnny boy made it. So John just got in today after 59 hours of travel.
excited to be back. I miss the old girl.
So this is where we'll be coming in?
Mm-hmm. That's the goal. That's what we've been working on for 2 years now. Here we are. At the doorstep.
Kind of surreal still, you know?
Feels freaking good, man. Salt running on your skin again. Salty sailors again. God, all of it, man. Whenever I left, I was scared there wouldn't be a chance we would come back. You know, we didn't have a dime to our name or any way to keep this thing going. But to be motoring out of the same river that I motored up defeated feels awesome.
First time being seasick in my life. Pray to the big man. Hopefully this doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
It's just the beginning, so.
It's a nice set of swells right now. About 20-foot seas on average right now. They're about 15, 20 feet. 30, 40 knots of wind. It's been pretty crazy. All right, John, go ahead and bring her out. I was done last night. The seas we were in, my body just was like, all right, I'm resting. I feel it today for sure. That's what I tell everybody on land. They're like, what's the hardest thing? I was like, dude, the hardest thing is stopping and starting. Is going on land for 3 weeks, and then you come back and your hands are just soft, and the muscles just, you know, deflate from pulling lines and holding on to the boat, because all your stabilizer muscles work all day long on the boat. And for those not to be worked for 3 months, we're all feeling it right now.
It's pretty chilly out here. We're in some pretty big seas right now.
It's really cold on the water out in the Pacific. All that water's coming up from Antarctica, and then all the winds as well. So it's chilling. You know, it's always kind of uncomfortable, but it becomes the new normal.
Right now it's not too bad. We've seen her like up to here. Whew. The old lady, she's a tank, but she's not known for her
elegance.
Her elegance, yeah.
It's good being back in it. It's what we came out here for. It's kick ass. Now, we're gonna get a little wet, maybe have some fun while we're at it.
Been on the water for 3 days now, and it's been intense. Pretty much what we expected. Just for me personally, just trying to be here, you know? Not trying to let my mind go off anywhere else.
The swells were rolling in behind us and breaking over us. When the wind is that strong, you know, it's just like just blowing everything to smithereens.
We were kind of sitting ducks for these waves that were just like plowing into the boat.
It was a roller coaster. The wind was so strong that the block holding our spinnaker pole shattered. And the pole started slamming around, and we needed to fix it right away, or we'd risk losing our headsail. And being in those seas without a headsail, I mean, that would have been a death sentence.
We gotta take care of the old lady. She takes care of us. The world keeps going around. What's gonna have to happen is we're gonna have to go up the mast, secure the spinnaker pole. It's only gonna get worse from here, so we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it right. We gotta do it now.
close our eyes and pray, and Taylor pulls off some kind of miracle.
Let's not do it again.
There have been these terrifying moments, but not only do you feel completely alive, but you also feel more confident, like you've pushed beyond the limits of what you thought you could handle. And you came out on the other side.
The last 3 or 4 days, I have had a smile on my face nonstop. You guys have seen it, man. Once in a lifetime. This is so cool.
Dude, we went through hell getting here. Like we earned it. And I don't think I'd be able to appreciate this moment if it was smooth sailing all the way down here.
It's just been a progressive year for me and for all of us, man. Started off really fucking low. Come a long way.
We didn't plan on sailing into the Magellan Strait. It's about 200 miles from Cape Horn, and the canals and waterways pointing south from there can be treacherous. But once we saw the raw and unbelievable beauty of Patagonia, we couldn't turn away.
One hell of a view. What is going on right now? Man, we're sailing into glaciers. It's incredible. It's amazing. Sights that a handful of people have ever seen in this world. Feel like a kid.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that lowest moment in my life. I wouldn't be chasing these things because you really realize how fragile this world is. And so when you come back from something like that, you don't let anything stop you.
And you chase everything you can in this world because you're alive in it. Merry Christmas, homies.
Woo! Made to Puerto Williams. Merry Christmas.
Feels unreal being down here. Everything we've been through, where we left from. Now we're sitting at the doorway, you know, right there.
All right. We just got to Puerto Williams, but it looks like we've got a weather window to shoot around Cape Horn. So we're gonna try and take it.
It's on, baby.
It's Cape Horn Day, baby.
It's Cape Horn Day. Oh boy.
How's that water look for Cape Horn?
Looks good, it really does look good.
Haven't had water this flat since we got here.
Makes me nervous. It's too good to be true. Much too good to be true.
Port stern's up.
All bow lines are off. The old lady's ready to rip.
All right, guys. Thanks. Safe travels, guys.
My hands are shaking. My heart's racing.
How often does a weather window like this come about?
Maybe twice a season. Twice a season we get a weather window like this.
At the end of the day, it's Cape Horn, so the weather is very unpredictable. It's anybody's guess what Mother Nature throws at us once we get out there.
Say a prayer, John. God be with us.
Between South America and Antarctica right now, which is crazy.
This is a huge moment. I'm not letting myself run away until we get to Cape Horn.
Wind's picking up a little bit, so top seas.
Sweat's all over the place. Damn, man, I was fucking hoping for sunny skies, calm seas. It was looking like that all day. Now, we're heeling over 50 degrees, 35 knots of wind, 10-foot seas, and rising, all in a matter of 10 minutes.
That's exactly what we were trying to avoid, you know? You look at all the weather windows, you talk to all the other cruisers, we might not even be able to see it now, you know?
Cape Horn is right there. Can't even see it yet. Just wanted one fucking break. This entire expedition, man. Every time we've been on the water, I don't know, you pray, you ask, you do everything you can. Get fucked every fucking time. I wanted this day to be for all those dudes that came back, fought every fucking day, fucking hurt every fucking day. Maybe they can see that he get a fucking break fucking broke my heart, man. You really did, dude. Fucked up. It's my fault, man. I think I got too hopeful.
You think she's gonna clear up, Tom?
Yep. You gotta stuff her all the way through end. She's peeking out.
Oh, you can almost... Oh, you can see her! Dang, you can see Cape Horn!
It's clearing up. It's fucking clearing up. Woo! King fucking horse.
Oh, fuck yeah, she did. Well, boys, this is when Captain T. Drags eats his words. Looks like God gave us a break after all.
Alright, so got a flag here. It's not just a regular flag. Oh man, hit me hard quick.
This flag was given to Taylor by his friend Mac, a doctor who did critical care medical transports in the Air Force. Mac carried this flag on a mission out of Afghanistan on Veterans Day in 2007, with 3 critically wounded soldiers and 7 flag-draped caskets.
We want to supply this flag and be honored. This good friend, Master Sergeant Ballot, who committed suicide. So we're gonna fly this flag. Yep. I'm gonna fly this flag around Cape Horn. Hopefully to do our part and to show honor and remembrance for all of our brothers and sisters for crying and not being heard.
Ballas family, Kinnan family, Trimbach family, Cerna family, Clement family. Everything we've been through the past 2 years, we did for them.
So what am I up to now?
I'm really enjoying spending time with my family.
I have a really great relationship with my bride, Samantha. And we've got a baby girl on the way. So that's really cool.
She's gonna be an awesome sailor. I use the old GI Bill to pay the bills for the apartment, which is nice. It's a good way to get on your feet by figuring out, what you want to do. I do currently go to Texas A&M Galveston,
And I've started a new business to fund veteran expeditions.
I think there's two things I'm great at in this world, and that's sailing and tequila. So how do we use that for sailing expeditions? You create the best tequila in the world to ultimately fund these expeditions. Have a fleet of boats with licensed captains. You take 15 guys on the boat and you take mental health professionals.
And you create a life-changing experience for everybody. If I could get those guys on the water, I think it'd give them a different perspective. You feel alive out here on the water. You're a part of it all. You're working with the winds, you're working with the water. She beats you down, but at the same time, she rewards you when that sun comes out, and it's just a ray of sunlight coming out over a glacier. This is my next Cape Horn.